Hi, it's Shannon here, back from houseimprovements.com. Today I'm going to give a video on cutting and installing ABS pipe. So just kind of some of the handling, some of the gluing, that sort of thing for ABS, commonly used for drain pipes. The situation we have here today is we've got the rough 3-inch stub coming out of the floor already. It's reduced down to 2-inch, and then there's a four-piece Y here, I guess. I don't know how well you can even see that on the video, but the top piece is going up through the ceiling and ties into the main vent for venting the drains. So that's there already. We've got coming out of the two side hubs, they're 2-inch as well. These were just stuck in there, temporary. Okay, so out of this one side, we're going to reduce this 2-inch down to 1.5 inches, come out and stick out the wall here for a sink drain in this roughed-in kitchen. We're shooting to be at about 18 inches to center for these drains where they protrude from the wall, and right now that's what this is set up already that way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this short little guy here. We're going to use a bushing, and this bushing is to reduce from the 2-inch, which is what this fitting is, down so we can stick some 1.5 inches in the other side, because we don't need 2-inch on this kitchen sink drain. So we're going to take our ABS solvent glue, and it comes with a little brush in the container already. We're going to run the brush, and I'm probably in the way for you to see this. We're going to run the brush and glue around inside of that fitting, and we're going to stick this bushing back in there and just give it a little twist, just to get our reduction. And then I've pre-cut these pipes, this 1.5-inch pipe. You can cut this pipe pretty easily with a few different things. I use just a cordless skill saw. You can use a reciprocating saw, hand saw, anything like that. You could use your electric miter saw. Pretty much anything that cuts wood will cut this. So I'm just going around before I glue anything, just pulling off any little frays of the material that are left behind after cutting, just so everything's nice and clean and is going to fit together easily. Just like that. And we're going to insert first one piece into that fitting that we just put in there. So I'm going to stick some glue in that fitting, that bushing, like so. Stick that in, fully seat it all the way as far in as it'll go, give it a little bit of a twist. Then we're going to put a 90-degree elbow on here. I'm going to dry fit this. So I'm going to slide the elbow on, and this will be the stub that's going to protrude from the wall. So I've got the elbow on there. I want to make sure that I've got some slope, just a little bit of slope on this so that I'm not going to over exaggerate it. I don't want it like that, or it's obviously not going to drain back and down and into the sewer system, is it? So exaggerating again, I want it to slope backwards so the water runs that way. You're generally looking for about 1/4 inch per foot of slope to give enough natural slope to any drain pipe. I kind of have this little torpedo level, and I've got it set up with a little block actually taped onto the one side. So in this 6 inches, I've got an 1/8 inch little piece of wood taped on there, so that when I set this on, I can, actually this pipe's it is too short. The idea with this is that when I set it on the pipe, and when the bubble says level, I know I've got the slope that I need because I've got it actually shimmed out a level. But because this pipe is actually too short for the block I've got, I'm going to put it to actual level and just give it a little bit of a twist, just so I've got a little bit of drainage there. Now I'm going to take, I use a silver Sharpie marker whenever I'm marking or cutting any of this kind of pipe. And I'm just going to give myself a reference line so that when I take this all apart to glue it, I can line it all back up the way I had it again. So I'm going to put here I put a couple lines on the fitting, on the elbow, and onto this pipe that's already glued. I know it's not going to move, so that I can reorientate this to where it needs to be. And because this one's just straight, I don't need any marks on it. So I can pull this off, and I'm going to put some glue in the fitting here. I'm going to stick that on, push it on all the way, and just twist it up until my marks line up to what I just put on there a few minutes ago. And same thing with this end. I'm going to glue it and just put my stub here. At a later point, once there's an actual kitchen in here and the sink and everything, the P-trap and everything will then join onto here. Now something else I want to do, and I just got to grab it out of my box, is I've got some of these orange caps. I need one that fits 1.5 inches, so I can cap that just to prevent sewer gases from coming back through the sewer system into the, into the place here. Okay, so this one's 1.5 inches. You could glue it on. Usually they fit snug enough that if you just slide it on there, that just temporarily caps it off so that we're not getting the sewer gas coming back into the room. And these were just temporary ones that were in there for the time being. So those are done. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to, off of this side here, we're going to run 2-inch across through this wall. And we've, in this wall over here, we've got a kind of a closet for the laundry set up in there. So we want to run a drain for the laundry, and it comes back into here. I don't need a separate vent over there because we're within less than 5 feet of this existing vent, so we don't have an issue with that. We do have about 4.5 feet here, and like I said before, we want about 1/4 inch of slope per foot in that 4 feet. So we're basically looking to get about 1 inch of rise from this point over to here where it's going to connect into a P-trap. We'll get to all that once we get doing that. You can see, just to make things easier, normally you would have, studs in the place of where these are, and you would have to drill the hole through so the pipe could pass through there. What I did is actually I took a 2x6, ripped them in half, and put it on the flat out to each side so that there's a void in between these wall studs where the pipe can just run, and I can just run it straight through. So I don't have to drill all those holes and make sure I've got everything lined up right. I can just simply slide the pipe in from the other end, and everything, nothing's in my way basically. So what we're going to do to start with, we're probably maybe going to have to reset the camera angle, and we will start from the box in the wall for the laundry plumbing. We'll get a downspout from there, the P-trap, and then we'll figure out what we need for a piece of pipe from the P-trap over to here. So we'll just reset. So we're over here in the closet area, which is going to be where the laundry is, and we've already pre-attached this laundry box that'll be in the wall cavity. It comes with a hot and cold valve, which aren't hooked up yet. That's another video to watch. Up top here, they could be in the bottom as well. These ones just happen to be in the top. And right here is a hole where our pipe and our P-trap and everything will be inside the wall cavity to drain the wash machine. Your hose would be hooked right in here. So first thing we need to do is determine the length of pipe we need that fits from the bottom of here into our P-trap. So I'm just going to figure out, just going to kind of hold the P-trap to the height I need, which is there. I need a little more tape. This is going to end up being out there and right here, so we need about 25.5. I've determined this height. If you remember earlier, I had said like we've got the fixed point down there where it's going to hook into the main drain, and that pipe that connects from here over to that drain is 4 feet long. We need 1/4 inch per foot in height elevation difference. So I've determined basically this needs to be 1 inch higher than the pipe that we're hooking into at the other end. And now I've forgotten my measurement, so I'm going to have to recheck it again. I think it was 25.5. So I'm just basically holding this roughly at the elevation that I determined there, which is going to be, it's awkward. I'm trying not to cover everything up with my arms so that you can see it in the video. Yeah, 25.5 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece of pipe to that right here. I'm going to use my silver Sharpie marker to mark the line so I can see it easy on the pipe. 25.5. And I'm cutting it with my cordless skill saw. So there's my mark. I just want to cut it as square and straight as I can. Safety glasses. Now the blade doesn't quite cut all the way through, so I've got to make another pass on the other side. Just like so. Okay, so this is the pipe we need. You can see how there's some of these little burrs hanging off there. Just peeling that stuff out of the way. Make sure the other end's good, and it is. Now I can glue my pipe into here. Actually, maybe what we'll do is we'll dry fit everything. So I'm going to stick this in here and stick that in there if it'll stay there. I want to turn this all so it's going to go down that. Here's that space between those wall studs inside of that wall cavity that I pointed out before. And now that I have that hanging in there, I can measure from this fitting to the other one to get the length of pipe that I need that way. I'm just looking that this is hanging nice and straight and plumb. Everything looks pretty good there. So I'm sticking my tape inside to where it needs to go inside of that fitting, measuring to this one, and we're exactly 4 feet. So I will cut another piece of pipe. To 4 feet. Like so. I think there is a little tool to do this with, but my hands work just as good. Okay, so I've got that cleaned up. I'm just going to dry fit that in there. And I can stick my level on that pipe that I showed you before. It has my little shim on it. And that should be really good right there. So our length, everything looks good there. So we've got it dry fit. Everything seems to be good as far as length goes. I like how this is all lining up. I'm going to put some orientation marks on some of my pieces here so that I know when I'm gluing them together I'm getting everything lined up again the correct way, like so. So now I can take it apart and I know how to get everything lined up again so that we have this exact same setup. So let's get some stuff apart here. Okay, so we'll start with this piece. We're using our solvent-based glue here for ABS. My seal came out. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so we're going to stick this end up first. Like so. I've got my mark on here, so I need to turn that till it lines up with the mark on there. It's worth mentioning when you buy these laundry boxes, it's set up for a few different configurations as far as where the drain comes out, the water, that sort of thing. And they've got a plug. They're kind of partly drilled out but not completely gone. So you've got to just finish cutting out the holes that you want to use when you decide which way you're going. So I've already done that, obviously. Now, this P-trap, we'll make sure the bottom's tight. And we're going to put some glue in here, just like so. You can kind of see the glue, I think, inside there. I'm going to stick it on the bottom of this pipe, turn it till my marks line up here where I had them before. That tells me we should be really close when we do all that. I'm just going to go to the other end and glue this horizontal pipe, stick it back in the four-way T that we had here. So yeah, you can see the ABS is fairly easy to work with. Cut's relatively easy, glue's easy. You know, if you take the time and do a dry fit and then mark everything correctly, it's pretty quick to put everything back together and make it line up again. It can be a little tricky if you don't pre-mark it or you know, mark it before you take it apart. Otherwise, you're trying to guess and the glue starts to set up, and then before you know it, you've got a big mess. So we're going to glue this one into that fitting, into the P-trap. Some of these P-traps will have a threaded connection here, which is fine. They give you a little more play for, you know, if things don't quite line up or whatever. This one just happens to be that it's a glued connection. I'm going to go to the other side of the wall again to get in here better and let the camera see. So now I'm gluing in the elbow, and I'll push the last connection together. If I can get in there. It's kind of tight, kind of tough. I'm going to put it on the pipe instead, I guess, because I just can't get into that area. Just make sure I've got the glue all the way around, like so. Get it in there, push it together, and you know, within a minute or so, things will be set up and that pipe's there to stay. So like I said, we didn't have to add a vent in here because we're within 5 feet, less than 5 feet of the existing vent. So that's why you don't see a vent system here going up through the roof. Important with the drains, you want air behind water. So you know, you always got to be thinking about the vents when you're setting up a drain. You can't just run a pipe 10 feet down the line and expect that the drain is going to work properly, because you don't have that air behind it to help it push down the line. So pretty basic. I think we've got it. Just remember, this is for ABS, for your residential or commercial drains above ground. And I think that pretty much does it. So I guess I'm going to sign off. We do have the forum up on our website at house-improvements.com, and feel free to go there and ask any questions you have. Even if they aren't related to this, as long as they're related to renovations or DIY type projects in your home, and we'll try to get an answer to you. We have lots of other videos, so check out our YouTube channel, maybe subscribe to it if you want, and then you'll be notified every time we post a new video, and hopefully we can help you out through any projects you have. So great. Once again, it was Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and we're done.